The wrestling world now is nothing like it was 3 or 5 years ago. The actual availability of work for so many different wrestlers is hugely enhanced, not just by the arrival of AEW, but also by the expansion of New Japan into America and New Japan Strong, by the fact that Impact now has so many vacancies as well. And honestly, as a wrestler, there has never been a better time to make this career choice and to get out there and see what you can make of yourself. That said, there are still plenty of people without work at the moment who are about to get out there and show the world what they can do. I'm going to rank 10 of the best free agents currently available out there in the wrestling world. Hi everyone, I'm Tom Colhue and I post daily wrestling news, analysis and watch party videos. You should hit that subscribe button, hit like on the video before we get started. Number 10, Kurt Angle. Ric Flair might be talking about coming back to a wrestling ring right now, but Kurt Angle's out there actually able to do it, and he's been talking a lot about the fact that when he was retired at WrestleMania, he was unhappy with the fact that he was retired by a rising star in Baron Corbin rather than someone in his twilight years like John Cena. Kurt Angle would bring a lot with him. He is a legitimate global legend, a real-life American hero. He won Olympic gold with a broken freaking neck, and that will never not be one funny or two absolutely badass. Kurt Angle has had long stints in the WWE, but also made a strong showing of himself in Impact as well. He will risk his body, however beaten and battered it may be, to entertain the fans, and that is something that every wrestling company will be wanting to grab hold of. The fact that Kurt Angle was not wrestling this week is a ridiculous one from where I'm sitting. Number 9, Lana. Lana is someone who is still technically a wrestler in training. She may be still developing, but you'll find very few people more capable than her when it comes to holding a microphone in a wrestling ring. Lana is a very polished, very capable speaker and has been used to great effect in the WWE to elevate everyone around her. She also brings not just wrestling experience and promo experience, but reality TV experience. This is something that has made her something of a global name outside of wrestling. That means that she would bring fans with her wherever she went next. Now, Lana has some obvious connections, the most obvious being her husband Miro in AEW, but I really hope she doesn't feel limited by that, because there are very few promotions who would not benefit from the involvement of Lana in bringing those reality TV viewers in having her as a speaker. She would boost the ratings of an Impact. She would boost the ratings of an MLW. She may not be as effective at boosting the ratings of an AEW or a WWE, but she would still bring incredible credibility with her to that reality TV audience. Number 8, Ruby Soho. From reality star to the exact opposite, Ruby Soho, formerly Ruby Riott in WWE, is clearly a wrestler at heart, and she would ignore all of that reality TV trappings to bring you great wrestling inside the ring and great stories outside of it. Everyone could benefit from someone of her level, experience and talent. There are heavy rumours right now that Ruby is already bound for AEW, and that is a great signing. Their women's division needs someone with her level of experience, a ring general, someone who can just walk in and say, "Hi, I'm in charge now, this is how we're doing it," in a way that actually would benefit everyone around her. Ruby is someone you can genuinely build an entire women's division around, and at no point will you ever find any of it disappointing. AEW could use that injection of experience and talent. Number 7, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman has been out of action for a little while, but this time last year Braun Strowman was a Universal Champion and was heading into back-to-back main events at SummerSlam and a week later at Payback against The Fiend, and then against The Fiend and Roman Reigns. Not long ago, just before being released, he was competing against Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre in a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. This guy has been in some of the biggest matches of the past year, and we cannot ignore the job that WWE did getting this guy over. Braun Strowman also brings with him a very recognisable look. As powerhouses go, right now he might be one of, if not the best, big men in the game. A feud in AEW with a Lance Archer, a feud in Impact with a Big Cass. There are many possibilities of how Braun Strowman could really use that power. He could also create, much as he did in WWE, memorable visual spectacles such as flipping the ambulance. Now WWE do definitely want Braun Strowman back, and looking at his history, I think it's very likely that that will happen. He will have to take a massive wage drop to take it, but so will basically everyone at WWE. They overpaid pretty much everyone who worked for them. Number 6. Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard is a name that isn't mentioned often enough by fans at the moment. Despite a realm of controversy, most of which has been proven true, Tessa Blanchard does bring with her experience, star power, and just that element of aura. Since winning the Impact World Championship, Tessa Blanchard has essentially been out of sight, out of mind. But she's been away while the pandemic's been going on. It's nearly over now, and Tessa Blanchard will be returning to our screens soon. While you'd think the controversy surrounding her would put companies off of hiring her, that simply isn't the case. This controversy has made her a bigger star, a more recognisable name, and has made more people aware of the fact that Tessa Blanchard has very, very good wrestling matches. She brings with her the 4 Horsewomen pedigree, she brings with her the name Blanchard, she brings with her former Impact World Champion, not Women's Champion, World Champion. So yes, she brings a lot of baggage, but she also brings a lot of positives, and you know someone very soon will be more than willing to take that punt. Number 5. Bray Wyatt. Wyndham Rotunda, known as Bray Wyatt in the WWE, was someone who stands out completely on an individual basis. That is rare in WWE, and the way that he managed it was by creating such unique and interesting characters and such creative storylines. Now admittedly, The Fiend fell foul of the WWE creative process again and again and again, pretty much since day one, but Bray Wyatt will continue to tell this story wherever he goes. If you're a wrestling company, you know he's going to tell this story, you might as well try and get it on your show. Wyatt is supremely creative and actually links together a lot of true-to-life elements, or at least a lot of true beliefs, such as voodoo and a lot of old-school Hammer horror things. Really recognisable traits, and things that even if you don't recognise them, you know just enough from pop culture that you're weirded out by it a little bit. I also think it's very possible that Bray Wyatt may walk away from wrestling entirely. The way he tells his stories, the ropes aren't really necessary to it. So I wish him the best of luck if he does choose to do that, as I do with any of these free agents. Number 4, Daniel Bryan. An incredibly decorated and talented wrestler who added so much to the WWE that he literally forced his way into the WrestleMania main event, which was only ever supposed to be Roman Reigns beating Edge. That is the caliber that we are talking about here, and that is the caliber that the WWE are furious that they had to let go. Now, Daniel Bryan wants to fight all across the world, and this is the main driving component to WWE's conversations with New Japan that have so far proven fruitless. Daniel Bryan can get that offer elsewhere. He can still compete in New Japan while working for AEW and vice versa. He could still work in Impact and come over to the UK to work in some of the indie scene. Daniel Bryan at this point can essentially set his own agenda, so he may not be hired full-time by anyone, and I wish him all the best if he chooses that. There is of course heavy rumours that he is AEW bound, but we cannot guarantee it at this point because those rumours are much less secure than the other guy who is rumoured for AEW. Number 3, CM Punk. You might think this is low for CM Punk being at number 3, but after 7 years out of action and out of the public eye, he's not been that powerful a name to modern fans. And by modern fans, I mean people who may have started watching after CM Punk left. If you're an 18, 19-year-old wrestling fan and you started watching when you were, say, 15, you know nothing about CM Punk apart from the fact that fans are still chanting this guy's name. So you know you missed something. CM Punk has teased the idea that he won't be at Rampage. Even I no longer believe it, and I'm historically skeptical. CM Punk seemingly exists now purely to piss off Vince McMahon and Triple H, and he's so good at it, and fans are absolutely fine with it. CM Punk brings with him a global recognition that is absolutely unquestionable. He is one of the strongest names, even despite being out for 7 years, and he will bring back 25, 30-year-old fans in their masses. Number 2, Adam Cole. Now, I understand you may be looking at the technicalities here and saying that Adam Cole is not a free agent. However, Adam Cole's contract has expired. He's just working on an extension at the moment that isn't signed and anywhere noteworthy actually written down. There have been dramatic last-minute disaster talks with Vince McMahon, and Adam Cole is so valuable to the WWE despite not being on the main roster that he has been offered a 7-figure sum. This is the level of talent that we're talking about. This is the future of WWE because he's not just been offered money, he's been offered pushes, championships, and victories over Roman Reigns. Adam Cole also is elite. He has extensive connections to AEW, and they can offer him the same, if not higher, when it comes to money. At this point, Adam Cole's choice basically comes down to just that, a choice. You can get the same from either side, and I'm sure he will. It's up to the WWE now whether they want to fire any more of his friends to basically guarantee it. Whatever you do, don't let Kevin Owens go right now. Number 1, Brock Lesnar. How quickly we forget that the beast Brock Lesnar is not currently under contract with any wrestling promotion. In fact, he's been out of contract for so long now that he's been strongly tempted to return to the USADA testing pool so that he can return to the UFC once the pandemic clears up after a while of testing. Brock Lesnar is one of the biggest names not only in wrestling but in combat sports. He is one of the most recognizable icons and to the point legends of any walk of combat life. He is that powerful a name, and he's easily that powerful a free agent. If a company like New Japan, like AEW, even like Impact could pay him enough, they would only need him for a year and they would be nipping at WWE's heels by the end of it. That's how strong a name we're talking. His drawing power is proven to be stronger than John Cena. At times, stronger even than The Undertaker. Now, Brock is fiercely loyal to Vince McMahon, despite issues early on in their career together, but he's an absolute game changer and he's worth every single penny that would be thrown at him, just in merch, in terms of ratings, ticket sales, all of this. Brock would be worth it. I would also like to point out that he's got some unfinished business with Tanahashi. So that's my top 10. Let me know in the comments what you disagree with, let me know what you agree with, and let me know who you think is the number 1 best option as a free agent right now. I've been Tom Collihew. We do daily wrestling news videos right here on the channel, so click subscribe, click like on this video, comment along, let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.